I was hoping that I'd never have to make this video one day, but here we are. This video details my experience with the MUGEN community. Before I start, there is no 3D stage in this video, the description, or comment section. Come back later for that. But alas, let's get into the video. I remember when I was young, I would watch fighting games on my grandmother's computer. I was introduced to MUGEN at the time, however I was afraid to get into the scene, as I was afraid that I would accidentally install a virus on my grandmother's computer. It wasn't until the summer of 2021 did I get into MUGEN on my grandmother's hand-me-down computer. The first ever character I added to MUGEN was Nameless. The MUGEN YouTube video starter guide advised me to download characters from MUGEN archive. However, I did not know that the site had strict downloading rules and events such as the community weekend event. It was so long ago I don't remember the specific rules, but I was basically barred from downloading MUGEN archive content for a week or so. Though when it was over I started to download MUGEN content and have fun. I started joining other MUGEN communities as time went on. By sophomore year, I had joined the MUGEN Fighters Guild and MUGEN Free for All Discord servers. I can admit that I wasn't the best person during these times, as I was scolded a lot. However, my actual experience as a 3D stage creator didn't start until 2023. For an extremely long time, I felt outclassed as a MUGEN author. I've always wanted to make Peacock from Skullgirls for MUGEN. The only problem is, I suck at aligning motion sprites. I didn't know how to make 2D stages because I was unsure as how to organize layers, how animation for 2D sprites work, etc. I thought that I'd never be able to put out a piece of MUGEN/IkeMen content ever. Then the announcement of 3D stages now being portable to IkeMen Go was made. One skill I do have is importing models into Blender. So I thought, wow, I can do that, this should be easy. And so, the Sinnoh Champion Room 3D stage was born. My first piece of work. That's still my baby. For a while I'd make 3D stage content, and post it in the IkeMen Guild channel in the MUGEN Fighters Guild Discord server. Then it all started on the IkeMen server. On the IkeMen server I have a thread of all of my 3D stages. Someone then asked if the thumbnails of my old 3D stages were trying to be funny or not. Other people chimed in expressing they were under the impression that the video would contain heavily edited footage and not a serious fight. Now some of you may be wondering, why did your earlier thumbnails look like that? For starters, this was my very first time seriously getting into content creation for YouTube, so I generally had zero clue as to how I wanted my thumbnails to look. King, what are you talking about? There's already examples out there. No shade to any MUGEN/IkeMen Go stage creators. Keep doing what y'all doing. But I feel that the format of either a screenshot from the video or just the stage itself as the thumbnail feels oversaturated, and has been used since the dawn of MUGEN content on YouTube. So I thought to myself, I want to try something else, something not boring, something that will grab people's attention while they scroll. So the format I came up with was practically a mock version of a Hood Irony meme. So I go to the MUGEN Fighters Guild Discord server and ask for their input on the thumbnails in the IkeMen channel. Mind you, little to nothing has been said about my thumbnails up until this point. To my genuine shock, I was met with anger, rage, and disrespect. Acting as if I just rolled up in there and shouted, "Fuck all of the niggas in Michigan who made MUGEN." I was so shocked and confused. Then you got Frank spamming their white people reaction images. I then brought up how I was confused as no one would really have anything to say about my thumbnails up until today. Folks then chimes in, brings up my viewer count on one of my videos and goes, "Motherfucker, you only have 63 views." Of course no one will say anything. What does my viewer count have to do with anything? I've posted the link to my videos 6 times in the IkeMen Guild over the course of 6 months. If you felt this way about the thumbnails, then why wait 6 months to say anything? Now we're just taking jabs at viewer counts instead of addressing the thumbnails. However, in the midst of all of the screaming old heads, there were some who had actual responses and feedback. Their main points were, there is no focal point of the thumbnail. The thumbnail really doesn't give the viewer an impression of what the video will be about or who will be in it, which are valid points. There are Street Fighter fans, Fatal Fury fans, Samurai Showdown fans, Kazakat fans, and more who probably passed up on my Final Fantasy VIII Fake President Train 3D stage video cause none of the related characters were on the thumbnail. So I went back to the drawing board, learned how to do aura effects for PNGs and came up with the thumbnail for the Arc System Database 3D stage video. I was so proud of myself for coming up with the new thumbnail style. It was finally looking like something. What I usually do is, right before a 3D stage release, I would tease the thumbnail of the stage, usually in the IkeMen Guild channel of the MUGEN Fighters Guild Discord server. Happy and excited, I made the announcement of the release date for the Arc System Database 3D stage release video. Immediately, the head honcho of Mugen Fighters Guild, Speed Preacher, began harassing me over my thumbnail. Mind you, this guy is pushing 40. While Alex was trying to have a regular conversation with me, Speed Preacher was acting like he was 9 years old over a thumbnail for an underground fighting game community video. Unfortunately, he was not alone in his outburst, as he was joined by Nocturnus. It then escalated into two old heads trying to get me to conform to their idea of what a Ike-Men thumbnail is supposed to look like. Then Nocturnus asked me for the base stage. Soon as I sent the base version of the stage, Speed Preacher stopped acting like an asshole and went, "That's an interesting stage. Happy to see it, like you call this leadership." He then continued by saying that I was afraid to show my work because of how my thumbnail looked. Like, why are we saying such awful things? If I was afraid to show my work, then I wouldn't be making 3D stages at all. Eventually it ended after Nick said to just agree to disagree. Like, holy fucking shit. Besides the YouTube terms of service, there is no definitive version of what a thumbnail should be. Anything outside of the TOS bubble, of what you think should be in a thumbnail, is an opinion, not a fact. And an opinion is most definitely not something you should harass someone else over. The fact that a grown-ass man pushing 40 fails to understand this, whilst leading Mugen Fighters Guild, says a lot about the faction. After these two instances, I was genuinely afraid to post my work in the Ike-Men channel, because I didn't know if Speed Preacher or someone else would chime in just to talk shit about my work or not. This isn't even coming from a place of, I'm afraid of criticism/complaints. I've had people come to me with genuine complaints about my stages before. Hey, your bound left/right is messed up, your stage portrait looks wonky, those mountains in the back look really bright. Are you sure you can't tone down the brightness? I'm open to that, and I still am. Though where I draw the line at, is blatant disrespect disguised as criticism. You must be afraid to show your work. You only have 63 views. I know, that's rough that you don't want people seeing your stuff. I'm glad you've resigned yourself. It's fucking cringe. Just being brutally honest, like, why are we behaving like this over a thumbnail? I just decided that I would keep posting in there and brace for impact if they show up again. Thankfully they didn't, and things went back to normal, for a while. Then a few days after New Year's, I teased my next stage, which was the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R, Joestar Mansion 3D stage. For this stage, I decided that Part 1 Jonathan and Part 1 Dio would be appropriate character picks. Now obviously I wanted those versions of Jonathan and Dio to be from the popular game JoJo's Bizarre Adventure heritage for the future. However, Jonathan is not in the game, and only Dio's Part 3 variants are in the game. So I decided, I'll try out the just versions of Dio and Jonathan. If the characters are trash, then I'll have to select someone else for this video, so I play as just Jonathan against Part 1 Dio on the Joestar Mansion stage, and oh my goodness, I had so much fun. After editing the footage and getting the thumbnail ready, I posted it in the Ike-Men Guild channel. For pre-context, the opinion of Just Mugen isn't viewed upon greatly in the server at all. There's a few just enjoyers, however everyone else has mainly negative opinions about the Mugen character style. When I posted it in there, it sparked a debate about the concept of the Just style, where it takes inspiration from, its short fallings, etc. Casual Mugen/Ike-Men talk per usual. When it was release day, I posted the link to the video, and went to bed. When I woke up there was still ongoing discussion about Just Mugen. One of the mods, Just No Point, made a point about how some of the negativity towards Just from regular Mugen enjoyers could stem from a place of jealousy due to the fact that Just Mugen content on average racks in more views than regular Mugen/Ike-Men content. I then chimed in, adding to how most complaints I've heard about Just are complaints that can be applied to Mugen characters in general. So the theory of Just hate coming from a place of jealousy could be true. I kid you not. Louis then replies to my comment and says, "My man, you are really saying it's about popularity, LMAO. You still try to hype up videos for stages with awful thumbnails. I am not going to hear, these people are jealous of how popular the videos are, from you of all people. I don't watch Mugen YouTube. I don't care how many views it got, LOL. Feeling insecure about people not liking Just characters is 12-year-old behavior. Sorry man. Like dude, we have officially lost the plot. The conversation was about Just Mugen content. When the hell did the conversation call for my 3D stages? Literally one of the mods brought up the topic of Just popularity. Why do you feel the need to single me out when I try to engage with their claim? For pre-context, Louis didn't always act like this. In fact, we used to joke about Clone Zero fart mechanics, Leona Hyder, and how her Rebel Spark super move is related to Kamen Rider, etc. However, one day he just left the server. When he came back, he had made the announcement that he had made an attempt on his life. I bring this up to perhaps hypothesize where this behavior is coming from. That he could still be battling depression, which might explain his emotional outbursts. Even if that were the case, that most certainly doesn't excuse such a stray out of the fucking blue. Either that or I just have bad memory of him and he just has a pole shoved up his ass. In response to such a bewildering comment, my only response was, "What the hell is wrong with you?" It then devolved into a Mugen versus just Mugen civil war until one of the mods, J Morphman, squashed the topic. Though, the final straw was when this instance occurred. It was early one morning, and someone made a joke about how there's an argument over AI going on in the MUGEN channel. I made a joke about how it was a monthly occurrence at this point. Someone then brought up a Mugen topic for a joke debate. I then chimed in and said, unless harmful or negative, all types of Mugen/Ikemen content shouldn't be shunned at all. Louis then said, if that's the case, then you should be a-okay with me sharing Minotaur content in Mugen spaces. For context, Minotaur is basically a porn character. I then said, introducing people to porn is harmful and can lead to porn addiction. Try again. At first everyone thought I was joking until I doubled down on my statement. It then led to somehow, the entire chat trying to convince me that porn addiction is not real and porn is a non-issue. Like, yeah bro. One of my friends who I knew in high school who engaged in daily porn watching and masturbation was totally not addicted to porn. Dude, you sound like a genuine fucking dumbass right now. In the Mugen community, I've noticed that there are quite a lot of minors in the audience. So I said that, kids don't need to be exposed to porn, like I think it should go without saying that there will be minors in any given gaming space, especially in abundance. His response to that statement was, shut the fuck up, scary things exist. Adult concepts are things you need to learn as a kid. At this point in time, I was trying to discern if this was Jeffrey Epstein living in Israel typing this out, or if this was a genuine human who came up with this thought process. Eventually, J Morphman stepped in and asked for the porn ethics discussion to cease. I along with many people said, yeah, let's all chill. Louis then replied to me by saying, shut the fuck up king. Seriously, I then decided to stand up for myself and go, Louis, would you spit my fucking dick out of your mouth? J Morphman then replied to my response and said, don't make these kinds of comments. I then asked him, well, how would you like for me to respond to, shut the fuck up king? Seriously, like a fucking adult. So standing up for myself is childish. You targeting the response instead of the instigator is just giving the instigator the green light to continue such negative behavior. The insults about my 3D stage thumbnails and not being able to stand up for myself just piled onto one another until I decided that was not the community for me. My closing thoughts, if I were to make a bingo card of my experience as an Ikemen creator, I can promise you none of this would have been on my bingo card. Before I got into Ikemen content creation, I would always hear stories about awful things other Mugen factions would do, especially Mugen Archive. So I was under the presumption that Mugen Fighters Guild were the good guys. Seems that was not the case. I was expecting an arms open welcoming community. We're so glad to finally have you on the team, type of bond, or no reaction at all. I would have been fine with either or. But unfortunately, it was nothing of the sort. Multiple Mugen factions have problems of their own. The AK1 Anderson community has mods that choose to fence sit and not do anything when they receive reports about CP characters on the site. Mugen Archive has strange rules accompanied with admins who allegedly dox people, and Mugen Fighters Guild has a very toxic community. Is a toxic community as bad as the first two mentioned? By all means no. The first two mentioned were crimes. However, a toxic community can easily push away new creators just as the first two can. While I sit at my desk, a thought popped up in my head. What if other content creators who have engaged in out-of-the-box thinking presented their work the same way I did? Would they too have been shunned? If so, then how many of them would have left? Legendary creators like Violin Ken, OHMSBY, EX Shadow, and so many more. It's scary to think that someone else with the same potential could run into such a toxic community and be scared off from creating at all ever again. I think that's wrong. I can't go in there and start banning everyone I don't like, but what I can do is warn people about these types of communities. Just spare yourself the trouble. Moral of the story, not every community is for you. If you have a harmless idea, then don't conform it to anyone else's idea and sacrifice for your creativity, and create for yourself. Your only biggest fan can be you. What does this mean for your 3D stages? Don't worry, I'll still be making M. I really love the grind of making a 3D stage for Ikemen Go. Converting it from some model format, rearranging the textures, adding lighting, making the thumbnail, it's a fun process I enjoy doing. Me quitting Ikemen content would just be me conforming to the Mugen conservatives' idea of what Mugen/Ike men content should look like. That'd also make me a weak person if I did so. All fears to rest, the 3D stage young nigga will return. When I finish this video about Infika, you'll see. Anyways, Jesus loves you. I'll see you all in the next one, and remember, break the impossible and see the invisible. Now if you excuse me, I have some real life stuff to attend to. Toodles.